Aviation Safety Resources is a leader in providing life-saving emergency landing systems for general aviation aircraft. This blue ribbon group of aviation experts has pioneered the development of the TriChute landing system, which allows for safe landing and recovery of aircraft during an in-flight emergency. Their latest innovation in the field of aviation safety is the patent-pending Smart Recovery System, an intelligent, sensor-based system that brings a new level of system sophistication, automation, and integration to general aviation aircraft safety. When armed by the pilot, the Smart Recovery System's central processor monitors information from a number of sensors that track critical flight data. Information such as the aircraft's distance from the ground, position, orientation, airspeed, and vertical speed could indicate a potential crash. Other sensors monitor for smoke or fire and pilot response to current situations. When a problem is detected, the Smart Recovery System uses all of the gathered information to determine a course of action to ensure the safety of the aircraft and its passengers and to avoid a life-threatening crash. Consider one such situation in which a pilot is flying a Cessna 210 cross-country, encounters poor visibility, and loses his horizon reference. The pilot cannot make the necessary corrections to maintain level flight, and the plane begins to roll to the left. As the plane rolls towards the vertical, it begins to fall toward the ground. In response to the drop in altitude, the pilot pulls back on the controls in an attempt to return the plane to normal flight. This action simply tightens the turn and increases the speed of descent, making the situation much worse. A crash is imminent. In the same situation, using an armed Smart Recovery System, the pilot would hear an audible warning as the plane rolls beyond the first programmed bank limit.
Angle. Recovery system is armed.
The pilot then checks the artificial horizon and vertical speed indicator and rolls the controls to the right to correct the aircraft. However, the correction is not enough. The pilot hears a second warning as the plane remains banked beyond the programmed limit, but now has also dropped below the programmed altitude limit. The pilot further attempts to correct the situation by turning the controls to the right. The airspeed is increasing. A third warning sounds as the aircraft airspeed indicator reaches the red line. Split seconds later, a fourth warning sounds as vertical speed has increased beyond its programmed downward limit. The Smart Recovery System determines that a crash is imminent and alerts the pilot that the aircraft recovery system is about to be deployed.
Ground proximity warning. Recovery system is armed.
At this point, the pilot has the option to override the Smart Recovery System and continue his efforts to recover normal flight. If so, the warnings will continue to alert the pilot to all flight parameters that are beyond limits. The pilot can also choose to activate the recovery system manually. If there is no response from the pilot, the Smart Recovery System is automatically activated and the central processor determines the best course of action in deploying the recovery system. In this case, the aircraft is inverted to the left with its nose angled down. The right wing is ejected first, causing the aircraft to quickly become upright. As the fuselage becomes upright, the left wing is ejected and a drogue chute is deployed if circumstances warrant and conditions allow to stabilize the center section. The drogue is then released and the main parachute is deployed in a reef state to further stabilize the fuselage. Finally, the reefing lines are released and the main parachute opens fully to lower the center section safely to the ground. Individual wing parachutes are deployed with a 2-second delay following separation from the fuselage. The Smart Recovery System works behind the scenes to alert the pilot to potential problems and serves as a safety net to deploy the emergency landing system in life-threatening situations. This next situation illustrates how the Smart Recovery System works with the pilot through several in-flight problems. The Smart Recovery System's fire sensor detects a fire in the left nacelle of a Beechcraft King Air.
Fire indication in left engine nacelle.
Immediately, the pilot hears an audible warning alerting her to the detected fire and informing her that the Smart Recovery System is about to activate the fire suppression system.
Fire suppression system will function in 4 seconds.
The pilot can override the actions of the Smart Recovery System and address the situation manually, but in this case, she lets the system continue. The fire suppression system activates and the smart recovery system audibly recommends to the pilot to shut down the engine.
Fire suppression system function. Consider shutdown of left engine.
The processor continues to monitor the fire detection sensor as well as all critical flight parameters. The pilot shuts down the engine and within moments the fire is out. The pilot locates a local airport and prepares to land the crippled aircraft. If the fire cannot be controlled, the smart recovery system will determine if the emergency landing system may need to be deployed. 2 miles out from the runway, the aircraft is 1,000 feet above the ground with landing gear extended. The pilot is focused on landing the aircraft safely. The smart recovery system has been continually monitoring the situation. The aircraft is too low to the ground, going too slow, and the airspeed drops below single-engine stall speed, and the aircraft rolls to the left in a tight spin. The emergency landing system is activated without delay. This time, the processor determines to eject the right wing first. As the aircraft becomes upright, the left wing is ejected. The fuselage parachute deploys immediately and fully to get the center section on the ground as safely as possible. Individual wing parachutes are deployed with a 2-second delay following separation from the fuselage. As you can see, Aviation Safety Resources is truly a leader in aviation safety for general aviation. The TriChute system and the Smart Recovery System are just the beginning of the pioneering general aviation safety systems we plan to bring to the market. For further information, please contact Dario P. Manfredi, President of Aviation Safety Resources, by telephone at US 516-676-5865 or by email at asrco@msn.com.